All right, friends. So today for our writing lesson, we are going to be writing a letter to a friend. So in your packet, you have a paper that looks like this. And we see the dotted line. And we see to and from. So we have two of them. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. The first thing I want us to go over is our different types of sentences that we've been talking about this year. So if you remember what this is called, this one is called a question mark, and that means we use it at the end of a sentence where we're asking somebody something, like, what day is it? So you can see at the beginning of my sentence, I have my capital letter. I made sure I put my finger spaces. At the end of my sentence, I put my question mark. So if somebody was reading it, they know that I'm asking a question, not telling them something. Now, another mark that we have talked about this year is a period. And a period is just a little circle like that. And that goes at the end of your sentence. And we use periods for telling sentences. So a good telling sentence we could have is the cat is gray. So I start my sentence with my capital letter. I use my finger spaces, and then I have my period at the end. And this tells us the color of the cat. And the last type of sentence that we've talked about is one that uses a mark that looks like this. It's a line, the dot on the bottom. And that is called an exclamation point. And that tells us, if that's at the end of the sentence, it tells us the sentence is something exciting or surprising is happening. So a good surprising sentence could be happy birthday It's a birthday in April. Can't remember off the top of my head. I have to look that up. We could say happy birthday, and then we could put somebody's name. So we could put Thiago. So we could say happy birthday, Thiago, and that's something exciting because we're celebrating something exciting. Today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be writing a letter to a friend. And you're gonna pick a friend who's in our class. So you're gonna write 2 letters, and you're gonna wind up picking 2 friends. But for today, I'm just gonna show you writing one letter, an example of one letter. And we're gonna be using the question sentences. So the first thing you're gonna do with your paper is we know that when we see a dotted line, it usually means that we're going to use scissors. So you're gonna use scissors and you're gonna cut your paper in half. Then it should look like this. You are not cutting on the dark black line, on the solid line. That one stays. And then your job is to fold it. So you want to and from to be on top. You'll fold it. Just like that. Good job. Then you're going to think of who you want to write your letter to. And I'm thinking of a friend of mine at school who I've not been able to see in a long time. So I am going to write my letter to my friend, Mrs. Stanowich. So on the to spot, I'm going to write Mrs. Stanowich. And you want to make sure that you're starting at the strawberry line and then going down to the chocolate line, or you're starting at the vanilla line, depending upon if it's an uppercase or a lowercase letter. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to how you're pinching your pencil like we've been practicing. On the next line, it says from. So that is where you write your name. So it says to Mrs. Stanowich, and it's not going to be from Mrs. Stanowich. It's going to be from Mrs. Carmody. So this is what the front of your little note is going to look like. It's going to say to and the friend that you're writing your first letter to, and it's going to say from, and then it's going to say your name. Now, what we're going to do with these letters is your job is to write one question sentence. Because if you look on the inside, there's not a lot of room for us to write. So I want you to focus on writing one good question sentence using good handwriting. We want to be asking our friend something that we want to learn more about. So something you could ask your friend is, what is your favorite movie? Another thing you could ask your friend is, can you ride a bike? What is your favorite ice cream? Do you have any pets? These are just some examples. You can come up with your own also. So a good way to brainstorm to come up with a good question to ask a friend is to think about your friend. So I'm thinking about my friend, Mrs. Stanowich, and I'm thinking about things that Mrs. Stanowich likes. I know that Mrs. Stanowich likes dogs. She has a couple dogs at home. I already know what her favorite color is. Ooh, I know what I don't know. I know Mrs. Stanowich's favorite food is cookies. But I don't know what Mrs. Stanowich's favorite cookie is. So what I'm going to do on the inside of my card is I'm going to write, using my neatest handwriting, I'm going to write, what is your favorite cookie? And if I'm writing what is the first? And that's the first word in my sentence. What do I have to start that with? An uppercase letter. So I'm going to write what? I'm going to use my finger. What? What? Finger space. Is, you can see right here, I ran out of room for the next word. So I'm going to actually put it on the line underneath. So then we're not running out of room. What is, there we go. Your favorite then I ran out of room, so I'm going to go to the next line. Cookie. And I know that it's a question sentence. So at the end of my question sentence, I'm going to put a question mark. All right, so the front of your note should look like this. It should say to, and the friend that you're writing your letter to, from, and your name. And then the inside, you're going to write a question to ask your friend. And then on the back, I want you to draw a picture that has to do with what your question is. So my question was about I've asked Mrs. Stanowich what her favorite cookie is. So on the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a cookie. So I'm going to draw a chocolate chip cookie. And then whenever we get back to school, we'll be able to pass our notes to our friends and they can read it. And then we will have time and we can answer the notes. So I want you to write a note to 2 different friends. So you're not going to write, if I write for my second note, I'm going to write one to Mrs. Stanowich and then I'm going to write one to another teacher or another friend. So this one I might write to Mrs. Middleton. And then I would ask Mrs. Middleton a different question. gonna pick 2 friends, and you're gonna write 1 question to each, and then draw a little something on the back. Alrighty, I can't wait to see these letters. Talk to you soon.